Hello everybody, my name is Andrew Arzbal. I'm from Modesto, California. I attend Modesto Junior College. I'm a freshman there. I graduated 2010. Go Grace Davis High School. And this is my video response. Today's date is February 23rd, 2011. This is a video response to Lukyanov on free speech, the freedom of speech and censored campuses. A lot of things I've heard about freedom of speech is that it is becoming more and more censored, or what I would say restricted outlawed freedoms. And that is when I was in the 8th grade, I can only remember the biggest test I had in US history. It was the First Amendment. I was blessed with a wonderful teacher, Grace Hart, who knew his right and had great knowledge to give us as young teenagers. Then we didn't really know or care about for our right of freedom of speech, because maybe we're too busy getting a girlfriend or so. Because I was. Her name was Michelle. Now I look back on it and I realize why we had to study a whole 5 weeks on only one amendment. And that's because he realized that every day we're losing our beloved right of freedom of speech, our First Amendment. He was just trying to get the point out, and that we really need to fight for it. And this is why I'm officially joining this conversation. Officially joined. I see now that there are so many things that we can and cannot say, which shouldn't be a factor. It should be say whatever you want, period. I, as a college student, realize I'm growing up and finding myself having to watch what I say around people I don't even know. I don't know. They could be spies. We cover in health class social and emotional health, two very, very large factors in maintaining a healthy life. Socially, you have to be able to express your true feelings to your mom, dad, best friend, and your girlfriend, if you have one, and or boyfriend, or girlfriends or boyfriends. And how do you socialize? With your words, right? Do you watch what you say around your mom and dad? Yeah, I hope so, but do you watch what you believe? You shouldn't, because if you do, then sometimes you might feel that you have to lie to your parents, and that's just unhealthy for your health. What's health with lying? You just don't lie. It leads to another lie, another lie, another lie, and then it leads to another lie. Hey, yo, wait. How many lies is that? That's like 15. What comes after 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 30? Oh, just more and more and more lies. Emotionally, I like to express how I feel. If I feel sad, if I feel super happy, if I feel mad. If you suppress these things inside, sometimes you can't get the help that you need. Or how are you going to get the help you need if you suppress it inside and you don't tell anybody anywhere, or, it's just, you're just suppressing it inside. It's horrible. These are things you should have freedoms to express. If our freedoms start to be more and more regulated, when will it stop? When will it actually stop? When will the freedoms, be no freedom and if you were to stop saying exactly what you pleased, where would the creativity go in whatever you say or whatever you do? A lot of artists thrive off of saying as they please, and their freedoms and these freedoms and this creativity makes those beautiful masterpieces that you see at museums. If freedom of speech started leaving, it's a foundation of art. It's one of the foundations of art in America. Sometimes you just have to ask yourself, when will I fully be able to say exactly what I please, whenever I please, however I please? Entrepreneurs are the creators of business out here in the United States and all over the world. And if we lose that freedom of speech here in the United States, how are we going to thrive? Because entrepreneurs need the freedom of speech in order to tell people, hey, look, this is my new robot car. This is my new pick holder. I don't know. There's a lot of things entrepreneurs out there need their freedoms of speech for. And that's one thing that we need to stop, these restrictions on freedom of speech. This is a beautiful country that we have here in the United States. And I don't see why we're trying to change the foundation of why this country is so beautiful, and that's freedom of speech, the First Amendment. I love freedom of speech. This is your image when you start to lose your freedom of speech. You can hardly see me. Look at me. I can't even see myself. This is the world when you lose the freedom of speech. It's all great. Look, you can't even see the colors of me. I'm brown, by the way, not gray. Here are some examples, or one of my examples, that restricted freedom of speech in schools. This example takes place in Des Moines. It is Tinker versus Des Moines. John and Mary Beth Tinker, aged 13 and 16, respectively, attended public school in Des Moines, Iowa, in December 1965. They and their parents attended a meeting to discuss ways to protesting the Vietnam War. The group decided to publicly wear black armbands as a symbol of their protest. I have mine on right now. Look at this. Makes me look strong. When the school principals heard about this decision at the meeting, they passed a rule that prohibited the wearing of an armband in school. Those who would refuse to remove an armband would be suspended from school until it was removed. The principal stated that they hoped that this rule would prevent the Tinkers, aware of the new rule, wore the armbands to school. During the day, no class were disorderly and school went on as usual. Before the end of the day, however, the Tinkers went home because the school principal suspended them until they would remove the armband. Their parents disagreed with the school's rules and actions and took the case to court. Eventually, the case reached the U.S. Supreme Court. Okay? Now, this makes me speechless. I don't even need. Oh man, this is now horrible. I am one to definitely go against the grain, and I can understand and relate to these children in Des Moines. And I wasn't born or was even alive during the Vietnam War, but I definitely disagree against it. And for someone to shut down my freedom like that, it's just horrible, and we have this still happening nowadays. Okay? The decision. The U.S. Supreme Court ruled in favor of Tinker in this case. In Tinker versus Des Moines, 393 U.S. 503, whatever, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled 7-2 against the school and in favor of the students wearing the armbands, provided their action or speech do not interfere with school work or the right of others in classrooms. In this case, Tinker versus Des Moines, Tinker wins, okay? And that's awesome. But the whole entire point I'm trying to get across right here is that the school and the campus, they weren't allowing this. They said it was going to disrupt, and it didn't at all. And sometimes your voice does have to speak very, very loud, and sometimes it does disrupt some classrooms. But in this case, it didn't. And this is a freedom that the school wasn't allowing, and I believe they should have got sued for a lot of money. And I think they did. I don't know. I need to look into it more. I've actually remembered this from history class, 8th grade. I don't know how. And I looked it up. Now here is a case where the United States restricted and vote against the person. Feiner versus New York. In March of 1949, a college student named Irving Feiner made a speech on a downtown city street in Syracuse, New York. A crowd of about 75 through 80 people, both black and whites, gathered to hear Feiner talk. During his speech, Feiner said a number of insulting things about various politicians, saying the mayor of New York City and President Truman were all bums. In his speech, Feiner also commented that African Americans don't have equal rights, and they should rise up in arms and fight for their rights. When people arrived on the scene, the two officers, expressed some concern with the flow of traffic in the area and the general restlessness of the crowd. As Feiner continued speaking, a number of people in the crowd became increasingly angry and even threatened Feiner. At this point, one of the police officers asked Feiner to step down and end his speech. When Feiner refused to obey the policeman after being asked to step down a second time, the policeman arrested Feiner for disturbing the peace and disorderly. Sounds like someone really has guts. Court ruled 6-3 that Feiner was guilty of disorderly conduct. The majority reasoned that Feiner's actions created the danger of a riot or disturbance occurring. The minority believed that the police had a clear obligation to protect Finer's right. The minority believed that the police had a clear obligation to protect Finer's right to speak, not to throw him in jail. I don't know about you guys, but I'm upset that Finer went to jail for trying to speak out of the line against the grain and tell other people, look, this is what I feel and this is how I feel. You know, I feel this way and I don't expect everyone else to feel how you feel, but I feel this way, you know? All in all, I honestly feel that freedom of speech should not be restricted at all, anywhere, not school campuses, not college campuses, not at, you know, certain places, you know, a lot of places, anywhere in the United States. If you want to speak out of line, you should be able to speak out of line. You know, if you want to get gauges, get gauges, you know. There's just, it's horrible. Thank you very much for watching. This concludes my video response. If you have any comments, please leave it below. And thank you. Have a nice life.